and they want to raise you, and you're like, no man, this is a grandfather. He's 30 years old. Like, if I push if I hit the red line, the piston is gonna reach the moon. Like, it's not gonna happen. And they're like, okay, they turn around you, and then they go. I mean, I've always liked cars, but I was never really into car shows. I'm not that social, I must say. I kind of do my own thing, and that's fine. But then when I bought the Subaru, there was a Subaru Club, and I was like, cool, it must be fun. So I started hanging out with the Subaru people. And then on track days, I ended up knowing, this is years ago, with Y drives. Just before it became a big thing, it was just like a WhatsApp group with a few of us, and we started going to Jebel Jais, like doing Jebel Jais runs and having breakfast on the top, and it was literally 6 cars. It was like, oh cool, let's go today. And then suddenly the white drives escalated and went out of control to midst of 200 cars. But it was with Subaru, with the Subaru Club, and then with the white drives. But then after knowing the people, at the end you kind of like handpick who you want to hang out with, and you end up just hanging out with them. The funny thing is with, I like cars, and the Subaru, it's quite like a head turner, like it sounds good, at least in my opinion, it sounds good. The wing is sexy, it's like blue with the golden rims. There is people that thinks it's a very race boy car. I don't care. Anyway, but with the Corrado, yes, there is people that they know it. It's usually expats, or we're talking about elder people, or not elder, but older people, not elder, older. And some people they will just look at the car and they just see it, and they're like, oh my god, what's that car? Like, I used to have one when I was in the UK. Oh my god, I had one in Germany. Oh, that's so cool. I had the G60. Like, it's mint. How you did it? Where did you find it? Are you selling it? Or like, I don't know, you're driving right down the highway. It's a relatively powerful car. It's super light. It's very small. If you compare it to nowadays cars, it looks tiny. It's super scary to drive that thing around patrols and Land Cruisers. Like, fucking kill me. And you just mind your business on the highway, and then like random dudes, they just show up on the side, they look at you, and they see that the car is kind of sporty, it's lowered and everything, and they're like, oh, and they want to raise you, and you're like, no man, this is a grandfather, he's 30 years old. Like, if I push if I hit the red line, the piston is gonna reach the moon. Like, it's not gonna happen. And they're like, okay, they turn around you, and then they go. Like, we had, like, I was driving one day, and then there's a Ferrari passing by, and the Ferrari was taking pictures of the car. Like, the passenger was actually just like taking pictures as he's going, and I was like, oh, that's actually quite cool. Like, Ferraris here are common. You see a Ferrari and you're not like, oh my god, a Ferrari. But I guess that this car, the owner knew what was it, or I don't know. In car events, there is usually people that comes and sees the car and check the car, and they're like, oh, I used to have one. I remember it was a track day. And I took it to the track and it didn't explode, which I am extremely happy. Okay, the battery like started rattling and it became loose, but anyway, it didn't explode, which was a big success. And there was this a couple, they were like maybe on their 40s, and the couple comes around, and I was expecting the guy to start talking to me about the car. I was with the car, I was checking something, and it was the woman. The woman, she came and she was like, oh my god, I really like the car, and apparently she was the petrolhead, and he was just with her like, okay, baby, enough for the day, let's go. And she was like, oh, it's so nice, blah, blah, blah. And then there was like another family that came by, and the father said to the girl, like, you see this car? This is a classic car. This is a really good car, to the little girl. And I was like, oh. First thing, now I know the car. I've learned, I've always been very handy. I like to fix things. Like, I'm a veterinarian, so I like to fix things. When I was a kid, I would get a radio, open it, break it, and then my parents would beat the crap out of me because I could not put it together. So, okay, but it was always like that. And then, because I work with wild animals, so I have to go to very remote locations and be like, so I lived 1 year in the Caribbean, and I had no water or electricity. I was living in the middle of the jungle, in a tiny island by myself. And that was, I was collecting rainwater, I had a small generator and a little solar panel connected to a battery. To make phone calls, I had to go up a hill because there was no reception. I didn't have a smartphone. I could not afford it. So anyway, it was that was the first time that I actually had to start fixing things to be able to survive. So it was like the fucking small yellow generator. Like, oh my god, I hated that crap. So anyway, that was the first time I tried to fix and achieve to fix an engine. And then, yeah, I mean, I guess that if I would see myself now, I would be like, you've done a good job. Like, you have nice cars. Like, so I still want to think that I'm, in a car way, faithful to what, I still do what I wanted to do. I have the cars I like, and fortunately I can do it. That car was amazing, I have to say. I could do 700 kilometers with one tank. It was a 1.2 engine, 75 horsepower. It was a hatchback, so just load everything there, go to the mountains. It was super slow. But for me, it was fun. And, I wouldn't speed because I could not afford to pay for gas. So I would always be like super slow, blah, blah, blah. And if I break the car, my mom would... So there was no way of actually doing... No modifications. I put a sticker once and she was not happy, so I had to remove it. Yeah. But it was the perfect little car. Just for, you start your car life and you have that, and it was, for free. I paid the insurance, but it was the only thing that I paid. She was like, hey, take it and don't break it. Yeah, sure. But it was good. At least in the car way, I would say that if I would look myself now, I would say, Mabruk, you've done a good job with the cars that you have.